Very cool concept. Excellent idea for dash mounting. It's a silicone base, flexible silicone base with a sticky bottom. So you stick it on there and it conforms to the shape of your dash. Great idea. And of course you have these cradles that with all these holes, you just pop them in and you can have it in any orientation or what have you that you wish. And as for the actual fit, just to give you a relative idea of the maximum thickness, this is an iPhone 4. It has a slim casing on it. And this relative thickness, though, is pretty much going to be the max, really. When I slip this in, it fits. But looking at it, that is pretty much going to be your max thickness. So if you have a slimmer phone but with a really thick case, like a waterproof case or a life case or a drop case, if it's thicker than this, then it's not going to really fit all that well. Relatively speaking, is if it's thicker than your four-finger fingernail, then not really. But for slimmer phones without those really thick cases, no problems. I mean, there's still a bit of giveaway there, and a little bit of sliding, but with both of them on there, it's still secure. So no problems there. And the magnetic charging cable thing, I think that's cool too. However, this is where I do have to ding a star. And it's not actually going to be something I think most people are going to have a problem with, but it's such an easy fix that I can't help but make a highlight of it. The charging cable, magnetic charging cable, pretty long flexible cord for as such things go. I have it plugged into a 2.1 amp port, and simply make contact with the metal base to those three little pins. Boom, like that. And then it lights up, lets you know you have power. So far, so good. There are no locking nibs. It doesn't lock down, which in itself is also a good thing, simply because it lets you rotate and orientate the cord in any direction and get a charge. But here it is where it just kind of not quite. They frankly need to make the cord longer. I would actually go as far as say twice as long, but longer would be better. And this is why. For most folks, like I said, it's not going to impact, simply because if you're using this as the intention is, meaning a smartphone in landscape horizontal position, your charging port is going to be within 4 inches of the bottom of this, and that is not going to present an issue right about there. Alright, even just to go as far as to point out, even if you have an older phone like my iPhone 4, I use this as an MP3 player, fantastic MP3 player, 30-pin connector. Well, even though it only has a Lightning and micro USB, they actually spaced out the connectors beautifully. So if you have a micro USB or a Lightning head adapter for like a 30-pin, this is pretty much the widest you're going to find, it will fit on there just fine. So I got one of those around the house. I just have to find it. But so that's good in itself. So with my iPhone 4, using it as an MP3 console in my car, it fits in there, and of course the cable will fit just fine, no problems. However, if they just made it longer, this would make this work just as well for 7-inch tablets. 7-inch tablets, I don't think you're going to be able to use the magnetic charging thing, simply because depending on where. Now, if you happen to have the charging port down at the bottom, yeah, okay, you're good, because like I said, this gives you some pretty good flexibility, and you can easily fit a 7-inch tablet in there. And if it's on the bottom, no problem. But for any reason that your charging port will be on top, forget about it. And that's with pretty much any device. If you have like a handheld GPS display unit where the charging port just happens to be on top instead of the side, it's too easy, because there's no locking nubs, to lose power connection. So in other words, because of the short length of this cord, the only way you're going to be able to use it is if your charging port is on the side and within, I would say, 4 inches from the bottom to the top. If it's anywhere else other than that, the cord is just too short. Plus, if they made it longer, it would actually give that charging cap a bit more leeway, a bit more slack. So if you hit any rough roads, you notice how easily that's losing connection. If it had a little bit more slack, you know, this could move around and that would, you know, not lose its power connection. It just is a little bit longer. That's all it really needs to make it just perfect, I suppose you can say. But still, it's very cool. And once again, I don't think most people are going to really run into an issue with that, but it is something to point out because, well, you know, you might be looking for something that would do a larger tablet, or maybe a hold and charge a GPS handheld unit. Oh, who knows? It's possibilities. There's plenty of it with this thing. Just take account of the magnetic charger. Now, one last thing. You can actually remove this. This just pops right out like that. See that? So you can easily remove it and even run your own cord through this little holder. It's not going to be as pretty, but you can run your own cord through here, and then you're golden. But otherwise, there it is, just for your consideration. You guys have yourself a great one.